This was a very close round with just 2 Vulcans. It shows how vulnerable these Mustangs are. I'm adding more Vulcans because I need to win the chaff war even harder. And the better I shut down his Mustangs, the better, of course, my Wasps will be. Because if you take the Mustangs out of this equation, what is there to deal with the Wasps? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. My opponent wants to shut down the missiles, and he's going for a war factory. He's also buying out. I think it is for efficient maintenance, but I'm not sure. He would have to sell something to get that. He's also dropping a shield here. I have gotten range for a bunch of my units. The Scorpions have range, the Sledgehammers have range. And of course I picked up these Vulcans, which basically drops me down to no money. My opponent is putting the war factory here on the other side, where it won't one-shot everything, or where it won't do massive damage and potentially denies something from the hacker. He's also leveling the hacker with the last money. Okay. Oh, and he also put some crawlers here. Now there's a moment where I realized I don't even have chaff here, by the way. I think I realized that this turn. So now, this side should be looking fairly good despite the war factory. I hope at least. Maybe it won't. But I have some Scorpions already, and I feel like if the opponent already has Scorpions, going into war factory is not the right move. This Vulcan would have a lot of HP, but the Scorpions are kind of just taking it down before they get hacked themselves, of course. Unfortunately, this Scorpion did not target the other Scorpion, so it gets hacked too. Meanwhile, I was completely wrong. The war factory is just breaking through despite the Scorpions. And I'm taking a good amount of damage this time. Meanwhile, my opponent still has taken almost nothing in terms of damage. I'm looking at the board, and usually war factories are a big problem. I'm not that scared of war factories. I don't even see what we took here. I think we both might have just skipped. Oh, I did pick senior manufacturing at one point because it would... I think it was the turn with the 2 Vulcans dropping here, because I would instantly break even. So why not? I'm getting acid because war factory, and acid deals very nicely with war factories. And then I'm getting subterranean movement. I'm buying out because it is now officially time to do that. My opponent has gotten efficient maintenance and a second war factory here. What I also did is I got sticky oil bombs, because that is now twice the missiles, if I'm not mistaken. And twice the missiles is twice as hard to intercept for these war factories. I think I also continued to sell the rhinos. Yeah, this rhino is now gone. Because what really was it doing, honestly? I'm seeing that my computer is chugging a bit, so we are approaching that stage of the fight. Missiles are getting through. The missile interception is not particularly good enough on the war factory. Now this hacker went down, and the war factories are exposed to the acid, which is panic time for the opponent. I make it a really good cleanup this turn. There is some phoenixes left, but this tower is about to fall. The other tower also fell, and now there's nothing that is protecting these phoenixes from the wasps. And my opponent takes a bunch of damage for the first time. Like a third or so of his health. Next turn, orbital bombardment. I'm picking it because nothing else here really speaks to me. My opponent is also taking orbital bombardment. It's bad for me with these wasps here. But honestly, I'm not that scared of it. I think my opponent with Mustangs and Phoenixes is more vulnerable to them than I am. More vulnerable to the orbital strike, that is. I'm getting range on the wasps because apparently they are actually doing something. So I'm leveling them. What else did I do this turn? Where did all my money go? I did level, I got range here. I leveled the Scorpions. Yeah, that's what I did. It's time to buy out, and I also mass recruited and added some more chaff because I need to win the chaff war even harder. I'm somewhat dealing with the Mustangs, though he of course now has 3 war factories intercepting stuff. All in all, orbital strikes are hitting. Some wasps go down here, some phoenixes here, more wasps here, more phoenixes here. Basically, we both take a good amount of damage from that. There's a lot of fire on the field, but once again, this side now, the hacker is very much so stuck on chaff, until of course it hacks the Vulcan, and now I have to deal with that. However, Acid is going to deal with that Vulcan nicely. War Factory here goes down. War Factory here goes down. Hacker here still super annoying, but the tower debuff is coming in, and the next War Factory goes down. I still have a bunch of stuff moving in on an opponent that is under a tower debuff and doesn't have a particularly big amount of forces left. So I take this turn as well. I was surprised to win once. I am actually happy that I won again, which suddenly makes this a pretty competitive round. And now, basically, this is going to be the finale, because I don't think there's any way that this is going to go on for much longer. My opponent has triple War Factory. He has been bleeding credits from these ever since, and it's not like he has top supply to make up for it or anything. He has normal supply, but so do I. I'm putting some fire here, just hoping he doesn't shield, but he is shielding. So a very small amount of fire will land, if anything. He's putting more shields up. I'm putting more Vulcans down because I need to get through his missile defense. If I don't get through his missile defense, it's not going to matter. Also, I'm not sure. No, these are from the last turn as well. Some crawlers here to bait, but that's normal. I'm actually putting these Vulcans behind because I'm hoping that these crawlers go down quickly enough so that these Vulcans will keep their abilities and will actually do that next turn. And my opponent, like, he's dropped what's this, 1 2 3 4 5 6 shields. Yeah, 6 shields. He could drop 2 more in theory. He also has his shield ability here, so this is kinda like he's using everything. He wants to win this turn because I think my opponent is really desperate at this point in time. He wasn't a very chatty person. I'm continuing to sell some Stormcallers because honestly, with the War Factories out, what are they going to do realistically? There's not much here that is really super exciting, I think. Nothing much changed compared to last time. My opponent is basically going all in, and we shall see if it works. So far, missiles are, as you can see, getting through, roasting all of these units. The Wasps level 3 now, and I think that was a tank, but I'm not sure. I know it was a Scorpion, destroying the hacker. War Factories are still alive, but also the Acid is on the ground. My opponent also got War Factory range here. However, the War Factories went down, and there's not enough on the field to, how should I put this, to kill me. The War Factory here is not winning against the level 4 Scorpion, and the Wasps have really good range with Elite Spec. That is what I got this turn as well. So in the end, what happens? This Phoenix takes down the remaining few units that I have. And yeah, I take down this barrier before the Scorpion goes down. Actually, there is one more turn, and my opponent just went all in. He's going for the melting point. He's going for another War Factory. And I want to inspect what happened this turn, because I can, kind of spoiler, this is going to be the final round, and I want to see what happens, because it ends up being quite a big swing, but I'm not even sure what really went down. So he's getting range on the Phoenixes and Phoenix production. That is a pretty big thing to do. I'm still thinking about what I should get. I end up getting the melting point, because I'm thinking maybe some late chaff can do good, and melters have the crawlers production here. So maybe that is what I do. I was thinking about going for the electromagnetic barrage, but how reliable is that when all of these Vulcans have gone down? Or rather, when all of these war factories exist, and I don't really want to count on 3 melters with barrage going through 4 war factories of interception. My opponent is down a significant amount of money because of the war factories and the shields, so I'm feeling fairly confident. I'm adding a bunch of shields here because I'm afraid of some EMP myself. That might disable all of my attacks and would be terrible. He's adding shields on the hackers as well. So these are double tech hackers. Quadro tech war factories. And let's watch what happens this turn. So, the first salvo of missiles, of course, not accomplishing much. Missile here accomplishing nothing. What ends up happening? So the hacker shields are going down fairly quickly. The melters aren't accomplishing much, but their crawler production is going off cooldown fairly quickly. Yeah, there's a lot of phoenixes here. And a lot of war factories. And in the end, that is probably what turned the tide here. The war factories were protecting the phoenixes, and the phoenixes took down everything. This was GG, and it was a huge turnaround. Like, he is winning with, what is this, 2,000? Yeah, 2,000 damage on top. So I think, honestly, the phoenixes with range and the phoenix production were what turned this one around. Even though he was down significantly in eco at the end of this match. Going for the war factories, going for 4 attacks on these, and especially phoenix production, really, I think that was the difference. Can I hit 0 and watch it again? No, I would have to do that in a different way. But I think that was it. There was just not enough chaff for me. The ranged Mustangs, in the end, survived too long, clearing all of my crawlers. And then the Phoenixes had just free reign to take down whatever they please. Maybe the right call would have been getting some EMP on my own. In the end, I think this loss can be traced back to me getting the Wasps instead of the Phoenixes. I think the Phoenixes would have done better. And I think that was the round where I went into a really, really long defeat. Or a really long match that ended in my defeat. But I think, really, I should have picked up the Phoenixes. Anyway, I don't want to be depressing. I think this was a really good match, which is why I'm casting it. And I guess war factories are still strong, even with the nerfs. So, yeah. Good on everybody playing war factories, I guess. Thank you for watching, everyone. And until next time.